Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Today I'm here with Mike from Adema.
Howdy.
Thank you, man, for being here. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
So today we are testing Neural DSP amp sims, and I already had the Abbasi, the Nolly, and the Omega head, and now they came out with a new one that is the 14 Cali, that white one that is on the screen. So we are gonna compare them, see what we think about it, what we think about the new one. And you never tried them before, right?
This is correct. I never have.
So you know we're gonna hear your feedback on the Neural DSP stuff.
All right.
Before we start, check the info box down below for my mixing courses, free plugins, and special discounts and all that. And if you want to support the channel, click the join button down here, see all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member. So first of all, tell me about your rig with Adema. What guitars you use, what amps you use when you tour, when you record, all that.
All right, good question. For a long time, I was using FX.
Okay.
We decided to go with like a tube amp, which is kind of like what I've always done in the past. I was using like a Mesa triple rectifier, you know. So now what I'm doing is I have a Dave Friedman B100 Deluxe.
Oh wow!
Which is pretty sweet. He did like a custom like black on black finish for me.
That's awesome. Send me a picture. We're gonna put it up.
Totally. And so for both the head and the 4x12, with the speaker cabinet. The top two speakers are 25 watt Celestion greenbacks.
Okay.
The bottom two are V30s. So that'll be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I used to have a Franken cabinet like that myself when I used to play. I had the Vintage 30 on top and the GT 75, I think, were on the bottom.
Okay.
On a Marshall cab, because I don't know, I found the 75 to handle a low end, you know, very well, because we were all down tuned. But yeah, that cabinet sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about, like, for example, you come from the FX. You were recording with it, or you were only touring with it?
Well, anything I've ever done with Adema has always been through tube amps.
Okay.
Always. And for live, I was using it exclusively, like for like the last 10 years, I would say. Okay. Just because I was like, man, having something where I can put in settings, change them in a hotel room, or like the whole thing just like dies, and I can just boom, like reload something and make it happen now.
What are you playing today? What's the guitar you're using?
So this is a Schecter Diamond Series. The other dudes like Tim, Flucky, and Dave Drew.
From Adema.
Yeah, from Adema. They've been like long time like Schecter guys. This guy, it's kind of like a Les Paul style, the translucent
it's beautiful.
Black finish, like double binding, like the cool like wood finish satin.
What scale you have?
This is a 1 inch longer than like what a Les Paul would be. It's a 24 3/4. So especially with like the down tuning and everything, I can still have like that same like form factor, but it handles the low tuning a little better.
Yeah, I feel you. I played baritone guitars, you know, my whole life, and yeah, I feel you about the long scale. This instrument is beautiful, and it plays awesome. Like as soon as you took it out of the bag, I was like, holy shit, that's nice. I love Schecters. I never played guitars. I had a couple of basses that I played, and they were like badass. They were like super mean. So yeah, definitely. But it's interesting that you're a tube amp guy, because I want to hear what you think about these.
Yes.
Today we are testing, like we said, the Neural DSP amp sims, 4 plugins, 4 models. I have the Abbasi, the Nolly, the Omega, and the new one that is the 14 Cali, the white one there. So I'm curious to hear it. I tried him a little bit myself, but I definitely wanted a real guitar player for this video for testing, because my playing is, questionable at least. All right, we will start with the Abbasi, which happens to be the first one on the first track. I'm gonna use the default settings for all of them, at least at the beginning, to see how they sound just off the shelf like this.
All right.
And well, there you go, Abbasi.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. I mean, the Abbasi is the second one that I got, and it was really impressive. Like, especially, I don't know how you feel, but the low end, the difference that I felt with the neural DSP stuff compared to the other stuff is the low end, is the chuggy stuff.
Right.
It feels legit to me. I don't know what you think.
I mean, like, it doesn't sound like it has like sometimes the ones that want to have low end energy like have like this really like sub sound like muddy thing happening.
It's kind of hyped.
Yes.
It's not natural. I know what I feel you. Like some plugins like over boost, you know, the low end in some way, and it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound legit. This one is pretty legit.
Yeah, no, like just starting with the default settings, like it sounds like how it should normally sound.
All right, the next one we're gonna try is the Nolly, which is the same that I used for that mix that we were talking about earlier. Let's hear how that sounds default settings.
All right.
That's again pretty freaking nice. I really love the bottom end on this DSP, neural DSP stuff, and this one has that sizzle at the top.
Yes.
You know, typical of the 5150. How it reacts to your playing?
No, you know what? It feels good. Like you know, it's funny that I played through a number of plugins, and like sometimes like usually like the first thing you do when you turn it on is just like a massive turn off. Like, oh, this isn't even close, you know. And it can just kind of psych you out. I think that gets a lot of guitar players. A lot of guitar players aren't techie. Feels right.
Yeah, it's so very important. Even if you're deciding to track the ion reamp later, and you use a plugin to just hear the sound, to get a good performance out of a guitar player, I mean, you need to at least the plugin to react the way you expect.
Yep.
Actually, we will play with this one later a little bit more because it has 4 heads and different cabinets.
Okay.
And you can actually, I noticed right now, you can mix and match. I think it's the only one. You can mix and match heads with different cabinets. Next one is the new one. So the 14 Cali.
All right.
Which looks pretty slick. And let me make sure we are default settings. And that's nice. I love it. It has a really nice mid bark, especially when you play like the note, the open note. That sounds right. It sounds legit. I like the fact that it comes. The default setting is you can change mic, of course, for each cabinet and position. We're not going to do a review of each and every one because there's a million out there. But it's nice that comes with the 57 and the 414 because that's my favorite combination. Of course, the MD 421 is like a standard, but I've always preferred the 414 on guitar cabs. It's just more meaty. I really like this one. We're gonna play a little more with the new 14. That next one is going to be the Omega, which is I think the more I want to say the more extreme. It has more. I feel like this one has more variety in the extreme sounds and distortions, high gain, while the other ones, especially the Nolly, has very great clean sounds, and we'll try that later. All right, let's see how this sounds.
All right.
That sounds pretty nice. I'm noticing that this one has the different tubes. I think it's the only one. And we have 6L6, EL36, and the KT66, which is my favorite. I think one Ubershaw comes with that, and I associate the K66 to that sound. So I'm curious to see, just really quick, if you play me the same riff.
Oh, sure.
I'm just gonna scroll through the 3 tubes so we hear the difference with the default settings.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna start with the T66. We just heard the 6L6. All right, so we can hear that. All right. Yeah, I was definitely the K66 has a lot more push.
Right.
You were hearing the difference, especially going from the K66 to the EL. Kind of died. It's a sound. I'm not a fan myself of the EL tubes. You know, people will bash me because of that, but at least for extreme distortions like this.
Gotcha.
I don't know. This one, I like that is a pretty noticeable difference between the three tubes. It's not subtle, which is usually what I notice in plugins. You know, they kind of have the same. It's always the same, just slightly different, and you kind of have to do A/B 4 times to hear the difference. And I feel like when you had to A/B 4 times, it not matter. Yeah, exactly. So this one is a big difference. And the KT66 really pushes hard.
Yeah.
And I love the bottom end. It's like very, very tight. All right. Bear with me, and let's play a little more with the new one, with the Cali.
All right.
So we have on this one 3 heads, and it should be from clean to crunch to heavy distortion. So we'll start with the clean one and hear how that sounds. Then we have the distortion. It's very versatile, this amp. Really like it. It's they tend to all these they kind of tend to sound similar, as in is not a bad thing. It's like you can hear they come from the same factory, so to speak. You know, they have the same quality, the same kind of real vibe to them.
Yeah,
but they're different enough to justify to have more. In fact, the best part of this is I think when you start combining them in that mix that I told you, I had the meza, the guitars that were originally recorded, and I had a Nolly on one side and the Abbasi on the other side. And the two together were like working really, really well. It was enough difference to make the stereo image very wide, but not enough difference to feel like I'm balanced, you know, on the stereo. So it was really, really nice. Let's play a little more with the Nolly just to, because it's the one that has the mix and match of heads and also has a very, very nice clean sound. So we can start with that.
The clean stuff?
Yeah. I inserted like every head, every plugin has pedals on the front end, and after the amp, I was just playing with the reverb that comes stock. Let's try the other head here, the second one that we have. It should be like a crunchy sound. Let's hear. The cabinets, I was switching cabinets with the same head. It actually makes a big difference. I think this is one of the most underrated things. It's not underrated. I think some people don't realize how much difference the cabinet makes and the speakers. That's most of your tone. I would say more than the head. Yeah. Especially for heavy distortion. In fact, a good thing about these plugins is that you can load your own inputs. Your own IR. I have a pretty muscular collection from Lancaster Audio. They're pretty nice.
That's awesome.
But it seems like what they did really well here is the cabinet impulses. They sound really good. Okay. So let's try the last one. Should be again pretty hefty distortion. That's nice. Again, I was switching cabinets. I like this combination. I don't know what they modeled this head after. I think maybe it's one of the Nolly's custom heads or heavily modified heads. Sounds pretty nice. I see this one for like a really dark stoner sound. Yeah. Maybe with a picture added on the front end or something crazy like that. I have a pedal that I really like is the MXR Submachine. Oh yeah. It's a pitch and fuzz. It makes crazy sounds for that. I think the last one I want to play with is the Abbasi. Which was a surprise for me. I really liked this one. I was in between getting the first plugin, the first one that I got from Nolly DSP. It was either the Nolly or the Abbasi. So let's just start playing with it. It has 3 heads. Okay. All right, let's try. Oh. Actually, I remember this to mention. So I think, if I don't remember wrong, this model in particular has this pretty unique function that is the blend there. And what it does, and I'm going with memory, I'm not reading, it's not rehearsed or anything. I think it simulates a piezo pickup on your guitar.
Interesting.
And it processes that and blend it with the head signal. And if you play something, I'm just gonna turn this on. It actually sounds pretty nice. Also some pedals in the front end. There's the compressor for that Tozini uses, and an EQ, and then there's a delay and a reverb there. Second head, which is again an I gain one, and I really like this one. I don't remember what they modeled this for after, to be honest. I think I don't remember anything of his actual rig. But Tozin definitely has a sound which is pretty unique. It has this shelf at the bottom end when you put that one on. Like the bottom end becomes huge. And again, it doesn't sound really hyped, overhyped. It definitely, you need to adjust. When this makes a big difference, you need to adjust the position of the mic and maybe a little bit of the EQ, but it just becomes huge. We were talking about before, when I record guitar, I go like a little overkill, but it's well documented in videos that I use like a ridiculous amount of amps and mics, but then it's just to give myself options when I mix.
Right.
But these one, all of them has one thing in common. I feel like it's the closest, when I move the mics in front of the cabinet, it's the closest to what I actually get when I move the actual mic in front of a cabinet. So it's not just a static emulation, it's actually the physics of it. Right. That I think they model really well. And most plugins today give you the ability of moving, the mic in front. And you engineer too, so you know what I'm talking about. Yes. Like this, actually, I would love for us to switch, but I can't play to save my life. So you need to trust, what I'm saying here. But
I can hear it when you're moving the mic. Like it's if I was just wearing headphones and was in a control room, that's what it sounds like when you're trying to figure out where on the cone that you want it and everything.
And it's legit, like to the centimeter, to the inch.
Wow.
Like I'm moving and I get that feeling like, this is actually how it works, in real life. So I think that's a big part of why these plugins sound different to me, at least, and better.
Yeah.
Last head, and then we can call it a day. This is nice. I love the graphic with this yellow thing. It's very particular, this yellow one. It's very mid-forward. I keep going back to this one. This just sound massive to me. This is my kind of sound, the kind of sound that I like. But all of them are very tweakable and very versatile. Again, start stacking these, left and right and center and double and quadruple guitar. All right, this is it for the Neural DSP plugins. I'm personally very impressed and very happy that we are at a level right now where I can feel comfortable reamping and using this stuff for like a legit album.
With using like amp sims, generally speaking, I've had most of my experiences have been just like turning it on and just being like just super turned off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when it starts off like not even sounding anywhere close, I don't really want to try that hard to try and get it there.
Yeah.
What I notice is just that like right off the bat, like before even like using any presets or doing any tweaking, like already like it sounded like if you turned on like an amplifier and it's like, all right, cool, like this, I already know what this amp sounds like, now let's see if we can dial it in.
Exactly. There's a really good point of view. When I didn't think personally about this, but when you turn on an amp, let's say it sounds 90% good if it's your amp and you know what kind of sound you are, and then you fine tune it. It's the opposite with the plugin. Usually, this sounds like absolute shit, and then let's try to get like a 60% of what I hear from the amp, and you spend 2 hours on it.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, that I hear you saying this, it's exactly what happened to me. I just downloaded the demo on Nolly and was like, this guy sounds good, like already, like it could go out like this, a couple of tweaks and, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. So kudos to Neural DSP for making this. I know they always work on some new stuff, and so we'll keep in touch and, we'll see what they come up with. So this is it for this video. These were the Neural DSP amp sim. Thank you, Mike, for being here.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Schechter. Shout out to the other guys at Adema. I hope you get to see you guys soon.
Yeah, brother.
And see you next time.